Good morning, guys. It's 8:30 as I'm recording this, the morning after the night before. I'm still exhausted, emotionally and physically drained. I feel hungover. But I want to talk about the game anyway. But before I go too far, I want to say thank you to OneFootball for sponsoring this channel as ever. I forgot about him last night because I was too emotionally messed up, I'm being honest. But it's a fantastic app, I promise you. Do a Manchester City fan a favour, a huge Manchester City fan. Download the app. It's really good, I promise you, and it helps keeps this channel going because they help support these videos. So go and download it. It's really good. It keeps you up to date with the stats and news. You get to follow Manchester City news and players and all that kind of stuff. And also, I want to say thank you to two of my newest Patreons, two absolute heroes, Jordan Farrell and Steve Browning. Steve Browning as well, mate. I owe you a video. Thank you for that massive donation. You're an absolute hero, genuinely. And Jordan, thank you very much as well. If you want to get involved, patreon.com/Esteemed Kompany. But let's go on to that game. If you saw my video last night, it was a bit naff. I'm so sorry. I was too emotionally drained to talk about the game. I've calmed down a lot since then. I didn't really sleep very well, I'm not going to lie. And this coffee this morning is really getting me through. But in general, I feel better today. I feel genuinely a lot better. I'm still gutted, but I do feel better. I can't pretend it. I've just got out of the shower as well, by the way, if you're wondering why I look so scruffy, because I'm on the way to work in a bit. But I thought I'd record this video before I set it off. But in general, that was a painful night. I'm going to go through a few talking points, like literally like the post-mortem, then the individuals, and where did we go wrong, and VAR, and will we get a reaction. In terms of the post-mortem, it really does sting, doesn't it? Does it mean our season's over? Of course it doesn't. Does it mean our season's a failure? Of course it doesn't. Does it mean this team's a failure? No, it really, really doesn't. I think football isn't as simple as that. And I think boiling it down to that is incredibly disrespectful to certain players involved last night, and also to the fans and to the club and the effort put into it. No, we were fantastic. We were largely fantastic. Mistakes aside, we were brilliant. But it wasn't a perfect result. It wasn't a perfect performance. We won on the night. But there's some very fair, some valid questions about our overall approach to the two games. The whole big what if about the first leg, if we'd taken it a little bit more seriously in terms of put a little bit more into it, if we'd played Bruyne maybe a little bit longer and all that kind of stuff. Hindsight is a beautiful bastard when it wants to be, but it's a fair point. It is a fair point. And this is what you can literally ask in the cold, hard light of day, who's staring down at me, the sun out there. You can ask these questions, and the fair questions, after we've all settled down. I think that my initial feelings were pride, a sickening feeling, tiredness, and all that kind of stuff. But I also appreciate how good certain players feel. Now, a few hours later, I'm starting to come down and think, well, what did we do? Where did... what happened? And I'll go into that in a bit. But in general, the post-mortem, I think the players... will feel a little bit hard done by, but in a good way. I feel like the fans have every right to feel disappointed, but at the same time, to me, it feels manageable. It does feel manageable. It feels like we played very well. We played really well in terms of our intensity, our desire. We left it all out on the pitch, and it also feels at the same time that we know we can improve. I also feel like in general as well, this idea that the domestic treble, if we get there and if we do it, is a failure is absolute nonsense. But I'll go more into that in terms of the reaction later. Individually, I'll go through the players. Edison maybe could have done more with their goal. It's kind of hard to say. He already committed to going one way when the shot was square in the goal and he's against one of the best attackers in the league. He kind of committed one way and couldn't keep it out. Can't be too critical of that, but maybe could have done more. Walker, I thought was excellent, genuinely excellent. Kyle Walker, a fantastic performance from him. It was brilliant. I thought the tenacity, the desire he showed, that Kyle Walker I want to see more often. The amount of times he was running past people using his strength and pace. Kyle, if you somehow miraculously see this, please do that more. We need a song for Kyle Walker because even though he's had a poor patch this season, you can't really deny his effort. You can't deny that. Kyle Walker needs a song. Someone think about it because I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Kompany was pretty solid. Not perfect, but definitely a lot better than his partner, Laporte. No, I love Laporte. But that's the first stink he's ever had in a blue shirt. It happened to be last night. It's a hard pill to swallow. He was directly culpable for a couple of goals, unfortunately. In general, What can you say about that? He did regain a bit of his composure as the game went on, but he was more affected, I think, than the atmosphere and the intensity of the game. It got to him. He wasn't composed. He got a bit carried away. Some players, when the game's more intense and fired up, can increase their levels of composure and focus, and he couldn't do that, unfortunately. He just got dragged into it more and more, and just lost his ball. He lost his ball entirely. It happens. Hopefully he'll bounce back, but it was poor. I would like to have seen Stones maybe lost like Kompany in hindsight, but then again, I didn't know Laporte would play that badly. Laporte was excellent against Liverpool, put it that way, in the biggest game of the season before that, in my opinion, the 2-1 at the Etihad. So there's nothing to say that he was going to do that again, like not play that again. Mendy alongside him, I thought, showed a lot of rustiness. Mendy wasn't ready for that game, I don't think. I don't think he was terrible, but he was definitely not good. I didn't think he was good in general. Mendy had a massive excuse though. He was playing out of necessity really, given our situation at left back. And he was there and he tried, but didn't play that well. I'm not going to castigate him too much, but it wasn't a perfect performance. But there is consequences. Gundogan I thought was fantastic. He was trying. He was on the forefront. He was really, really working. A phenomenal player on his day, and last night I thought was one of his best performances once again in a City shirt. We really can't let him go. We'll just give him the extra 50 grand a week, whatever it is. Just try and convince him to stay, because replacing him and an aging David Silva and an aging Fernandinho is going to be such a huge task. We need him around for that really, because he's just such a crucial member of the squad these days, and I really want him to stay. Even if he isn't always perfect, he's still too good to let go on a free transfer in a year's time. Kevin De Bruyne. I'll go to Kevin De Bruyne in a second. David Silva, not great, but I don't think he was awful, as some people make it out. I know he's kind of a bit of a whipping boy at the moment, and a lot of it's deserved, but I don't think he was terrible. I think he was alright, 6 out of 10-ish, but obviously the frustration comes from keeping Son out of the team. I saw a very good post on Blue Forum. Yes, they do exist. From Domolino, a very good post. He said that Pep sees Silva as his eyes and ears in the team and in his brain, because no one understands this game more than David Silva, apparently. So Silva's on the pitch often because he can organise the team. He talks a lot more than you realise. He allegedly is basically the thinking brain of the team. Even if he doesn't play that well, his value on the pitch is there for Guardiola, and I guess that would make a lot of sense, because Guardiola isn't the kind of guy to play people he doesn't think are useful. He just isn't. So there's no reason you keep playing David Silva when he's seemingly out of form if you didn't think he was bringing something to the team. Whether you agree with that or not, I don't care, but that's a perfectly logical reasoning. Right, on to Kevin De Bruyne. Fucking hell, what a performance that was. That was like a 10 out of 10 performance. One of the best individual performances I've ever seen from a Manchester City player. You forget how physical Kevin De Bruyne can be, but tonight, I'm still there apparently. Last night, he was sensational. It was the power of his running and the tenacity and the way he led the team forward, the way he was driving past people, the way he was running at Spurs, and consistently. I've not seen him dribble that much ever. Like, he was a man possessed. Honestly, like, do you remember Bernardo's display against Liverpool when he ran and ran and ran? It was that, but with added skill. Bernardo was great that day, but this was like that with 3 assists. Could have been more. Great long-range shots, tenacity, and just perfect. Can you think of a more complete midfield performance than that? I'm sorry. That was Steven Gerrard with intensity and intelligence. Like, Gerrard was a fantastic player, but he didn't always lack game intelligence. And no offence to any Liverpool fans watching, but Gerrard was that swashbuckling kind of Roy of the Rovers kind of stuff. Phenomenal. That was De Bruyne last night, but with an added intelligence, in my personal opinion. Phenomenal. De Bruyne was so undeserving of being on a losing side. Well, I guess he wasn't. He wasn't at the same time. You know what I mean? Because he was phenomenal. Also, what I say to Sterling, what a player as well. To have that cruelly snatched away from him last minute, even if it was right or not, that must just feel sickening. His 93-20-esque kind of moment. I mean, he's had it before last season against Southampton, remember, the goal last minute. So he's had a few last minute winners to celebrate. So eventually one was going to come back and kick him in the face. But like, Sterling was fantastic. He can be as good as he wants to be. He can be getting 30 plus goals and 20 plus assists a season quite easily. I think he's even got room to improve still. His passing with his weak foot, his crossing can still get better, but his finishing is going up and up. That first goal, tapping merchant apparently. Don't forget De Bruyne is a cross merchant as well. Yeah, right. Sterling's first goal, phenomenal. His second goal, right place, right time. In general, his work rate, his skill, his tenacity, his overall improvement, his maturity as a player, just phenomenal once again. I love him, absolutely love him. He goes from strength to strength to strength. Aguero, not always great, but always worked really hard. Some seasons had me pulling my hair out because I was stressed during the game. I think there was moments that stressed me more with Aguero than they would if the game was more kind of steady, but that's understandable. But I thought in general, his overall effort was fantastic. And his goal, no one finishes that better than Aguero there, Sterling. Maybe Sterling. But no one finishes that better than Aguero because he fired that in from a ridiculously tight angle. Cue delirium in the stands, which I'm still not over. That feeling of celebrating last night. Oh, it just makes me feel sick thinking about it. But Aguero I thought was good. Bernardo as well was Bernardo. I thought most of our threat came down the right hand side with Bernardo and De Bruyne and Walker linking up. Bernardo was fantastic. So good. What a player. I'm tired even just talking about it, genuinely am. Where did we go wrong? Individual mistakes cost us in the end, I think, if we're being honest. We didn't keep our composure. And this goes for both teams. I thought both teams in the first 20 minutes were just a mess. It was great fun to watch, I guess, for the neutral, but we were both just a mess, just conceding chances, conceding goals, giving the ball away. It was just so un-Guardiola-like. It was painful. It really was. It was just like, we didn't keep composure. I think they all got caught in the moment. You know what it reminded me of? And once again, any Liverpool fans watching, I'm sure you can relate. It reminded me more of a Brendan Rodgers Liverpool team in terms of going for it, tenacity, goals, skill, fun, all that kind of stuff, but no control. And that's not how Manchester City play. There was lack of control, really. Maybe in terms of where did we go wrong as well. Maybe the first leg. I still maintain that we needed to do more in that first leg. Not getting away goal seemed suicidal. Playing the weaker team seemed suicidal. And I said at the time, I felt we could have controlled that game a bit better. Aguero penalty goes in. I agree it's a different hot tie in general, but I don't think you can hope for that. I think, it just feels tough. Sometimes you have to accept as well that not everything will go your way. Away goals are a sickener, aren't they? But that's football. Do I think we messed up hugely? It's such fine margins that I feel like if that goal hadn't been given offside last night, or the other one hadn't been given handball, then all of a sudden no one's questioning it. No one's questioning it. It said he played out perfectly in a weird way. Pepe's in a bottler. City are already all of a sudden. If football's on such fine margins, and I'm so tired of this, that we're not ready if we don't go through. We are ready if we do go through. So basically, imagine, right, City are winning 1-0 for a whole game, hypothetically, and someone scores from 70 yards and City go out against one of the best teams in the country, best teams in the world, or something like that. Some freak goal happens. All of a sudden, that team just not ready, just because of a freak moment. I don't really buy into that everything is that black and white. I think we are ready. I just think that happened. I think sometimes things happen. Things sometimes just happen, and that's where we are with that game. That's personally how I feel about it. On to VAR. Fuck it. Absolute fuck VAR. It's possible to feel both appreciation about what it can be and how good it can be, and know we got the right call for the Spurs thing, and in terms of like the goal, it was right, it should have been ruled out, it was offside, but also hate it. I just hate it, and people keep saying on Twitter, oh, it's like an offside goal, we've seen goals ruled out before, but it's not the same. Beforehand, if a goal's about to be disallowed. You see the linesman's flag go up. You see the players run to the referee. You see the referee talking to the linesman. You see all that. There was none of that. It's totally different. Everyone thought the goal. No one was appealing it. There was no moment, because normally I've seen plenty of offside goals given where they turn around. You celebrate 5 seconds and you go, oh, then you go, oh shit, no, he's talking to the ref, and you realise and it doesn't happen. I've seen that loads of times, but this was different to that. It was totally different to that. It was totally different. It was like a minute of just sheer joy and limbs and no one expecting anything. All of a sudden, they didn't even announce it was going to VAR as well. Someone please announce that VAR is being checked. That would make it a whole lot more manageable. But what I hate is this feeling of anxiety. Like, when Aguero's goal went in, I honestly didn't feel like celebrating because I thought he was about to be ruled out or something, because I thought it was offside. And I hate the fact that I'm just second guessing passion. Like, it's great for the TV viewers, but for the fans in the stadium, it's just a fucking sickener. It really is. It makes you feel like you can't celebrate, and that isn't good, really. I wish there was a way around that because it's not nice. Having seen the incidents now, he was offside. That still looks like handball to me. I'm not sure I want to dwell on it. Apparently, he didn't see all the view angles or something. I don't know. I don't really care. It's done. It's over. But it obviously needs to be refined. In terms of the reaction, where do we go from here? A lot of people are worried about how we'll react to this, but I don't know. I actually think we'll react quite well. There was a feeling last night at the stadium between the players and the fans, and you can only really get a grasp of it if you were there, honestly. I'm not just trying to say this like to be elitist, like you have to be there to understand it, but the camera's cut obviously at a certain point. You don't really see what happens after that when they go back to the studio. But there was basically, like, City fans started singing Blue Moon about 2 minutes after full time. The stadium was pretty much full still. They all started singing, the fans reacted, and the players were, applauding the fans. And I think in general there was a mutual respect between the two to the point where I think they'll just dust off and get on with it. Rory Smith, New York Times journalist, tweeted that he thinks City will go and win the rest of the games now, like with kind of like a righteous anger. And I feel the same. I think like De Bruyne and Sterling and the likes will be so up for it. I think they'll feel like they want to set the world to rights because I think they'll feel hard done by a little bit because of the way it happened. Fernandinho allegedly said 2 words to a journalist, which was "fuck VAR." I think they won't feel sorry for themselves. I think they'll feel like they want to right their perceived wrongs, whether they're justified or not. I think they'll feel like they want to go and really make a point. And I think they will do. I think they'll be fired up. And the next couple of games now are going to be absolutely critical to Manchester City's season. Like the Spurs game now shows us everything. Beat Spurs, I think we'll win the league. I think we'll beat United then. And I think we'll just be on fire. If we get that same level of intensity out of certain players, there's no way anyone else in the league can live with us. Genuinely, I believe that. Like De Bruyne, wow, just a man possessed. I feel like we should be okay. I'm hoping there's a big atmosphere on Saturday. I'm hoping Manchester City are on fire. I'm hoping the fans are just as passionate as they were last night, and I'm sure they will because that atmosphere was still just spine tingling. It was goosebumps inducing. I've never seen anything quite like it. At the Etihad, I've seen it before. Maybe I've seen it before, but that intensity. The up and downs of that game was a roller coaster of emotions, just phenomenal stuff. I don't know what time you're watching this video at. I've recorded it, but I've been talking like for 20 minutes now, so I don't know if this video will be out this morning. It'll probably be out lunchtime because I've got to go to work. But all I can say is that was one of the that's a memorable game of football, something I will never forget in a hurry. And I'm still really proud of the club. And yes, I can accept that maybe it wasn't quite good enough. Maybe in the big moments, we have to learn how to control our emotions because it isn't good enough. It isn't. Like, technically, it isn't good enough. Guardiola will not be happy from certain players in terms of how they reacted. He'll be happy with their intensity, their desire and the hunger. No one can question this team's work rate. They really can't test it. But what you will question is where their heads were at when it most mattered in terms of certain moments. Like Guardiola, rightfully so, will be, and because he's paid a lot to do this, will be so annoyed with the lack of composure early on. But he will be happy with the performance. Guardiola's a very honest man, and as Bernardo said, he's super positive. Like, his thing is all about extreme positivity, pushing players to be better than they are at the moment and to reach previously unthinkable levels of ability. And certain players are going through that now. So I think in general, I think Guardiola will get the best out of them. And we should be happy. We should be focused because a domestic treble has never been done before. And I want that so much. I want it so bad. I really want us to get behind this team. I really want us to see the bigger picture here. Yes, be disappointed. Also, to see both sides of it and take it and move forward and support this club because I'm really happy. Anyway, that was twice as long a video as I expected it to be. I got a lot off my chest there, and now I'm not talking about that game ever again because I'm over it. I'm done, honestly. I just needed to get this quite cathartic release off my chest. As ever, thank you to all these names scrolling down the side of the screen. These are my patrons, absolute heroes. I would love to do this full-time one day and create content. As it is, I have a full-time job and I'm working around, and whatever time I get, I try and fit around into making videos while living my life. If you want to get involved, patreon.com/Esteemed Kompany. I can't offer much other than a shout out. You can get involved in Patreon Q&A and all that kind of stuff in a private Discord group to chat with other Manchester City fans. Other than that, though, thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for supporting these videos. I hate sometimes that I have to make these videos after a game because it's the last thing I want to do. But thankfully, City don't lose very often. They really don't. We win more than we do. I'm going to go to work and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Don't worry about it too much. It is just football after all. and I'll see you very, 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 very soon. Go down the One Football 2 in a bit.